When it rains, it pours news, and this is my third article today. Here's this one. Congressman, too much dispersant used in oil spill. Imagine that. New Orleans, as BP inched closer to permanently sealing the blown out well in the Gulf of Mexico, congressional investigators railed the company and Coast Guard for part of the cleanup effort, saying too much toxic chemical dispersant was used. The investigators said the U.S. Coast Guard routinely approved BP's request to use thousands of gallons of chemical a day to break up the oil in the Gulf, despite the federal directive to use the dispersant rarely. The Coast Guard approved 74 waivers over a 48-day period after the Environmental Protection Agency ordered, according to documents reviewed by the investigators. Only in a small number of cases did the government scale back BP's request. Representative Edward Markley, Democrat of Massachusetts, released a letter Saturday that said instead of complying with EPA restriction, BP often carpet bombed the ocean with these chemicals and the Coast Guard allowed them to do it. BP did not immediately return a phone call to the spokesman for the Unified Command Center in New Orleans, did not have an immediate comment. Well, that's nothing new. While the chemical dispersant was effective at breaking up the oil into small droplets to more easy to consume by bacteria, the long-term effects to aquatic life are unknown. That environmental uncertainty has led to several spats between BP and the government over the use of dispersants in the water's surface and deep underwater when oil was spewing out of the well. A temporary cap has held the gusher in check for more than 2 weeks. The engineers were planning to start as early as Monday on an effort to help plug the well for good. The procedure, dubbed the static kill, involves pumping mud, possibly cement, into the blown-out well through a temporary cap. If it works, it will take less time to complete a similar procedure using a relief well that is nearly complete. That effort, known as bottom kill, should be the last step to sealing the well. Before the static kill can take place, however, debris needs to be cleaned out from one of the relief wells. The debris fell in the bottom of the relief well when crews had to evacuate the site last week because of Tropical Storm Bonnie. Companies working to plug the disaster for good are also engaged in a billion-dollar blame game. But the workers for BP, Halliburton, and Transocean say the company's advisory relationship before Congress isn't a distraction at the site of the April 20th rig explosion, where Transocean equipment rented by BP is drilling relief wells that Halliburton will pump cement through to permanently choke the oil well. Simply, we are all too professional to allow disagreements between BP and any organization to affect our behavior. Ryan Urich, a BP well safety advisor working on the development of Driller 2, which is drilling a backup relief well, said in an email last week. The role of the companies in the kill effort are much the same as they were on the Deepwater Horizon exploratory rig that blew up, killing 11 workers. The Justice Department has opened civil and criminal investigations into the incident. Hundreds of lawsuits have been filed, and congressional investigators are probing the incident and the aftermath. Kenneth Green, a resident scholar of the American Enterprise Institute for Public Safety Research and think tank, said the investigators may have stifled communication between the government and the companies, and between the companies themselves. The problem is your chilled communications with the very people you need to solve the problem, he said. Once the Justice Department got involved, the lawyers were basically immediately in charge of the show. BP is trying to move forward from the disaster that sent anywhere from 94 million to 184 million gallons of oil spewing into the Gulf, announcing once the cap was finally in place that it verified Chief Executive Tony Hayward will be leaving in October. There are other signs of change in the Gulf state waters close by the spill have slowly reopened to fishing. Most recently in Florida, where regulators on Saturday reopened a 23-mile area off the Escambia County to harvest saltwater fish. The area was closed June 14th, remained closed to the shrimp and crab harvesting pending additional testing. Oysters, clams, and mussels were never included in the closure. In Alabama, the Department of Public Health lifted all swimming advisories for the Gulf of Mexico, and Interior Secretary Ken Souza toured 3 offshore oil rigs last week, his most extensive trip since the unprecedented shutdown of offshore drilling. Salazar told the Associated Press, which accompanied him, that he's gathering information to decide whether to revise or even lift the ban, which is scheduled to last until November 30th. Business groups and Gulf Coast political leaders say the shutdown is crippling the oil and gas industry and costing thousands of jobs, even aboard rigs not operated by BP PLC. The freeze is like punishing the whole class when a student does something wrong. Oil executives John Breed told Solaris during the tour of the Noble Danny Adkins, one of the rigs Salazar visited Wednesday. Salazar told the AP he believed the industry-wide moratorium imposed after BP's Gulf oil spill was the correct call. I think we're in the right direction, he said, adding that the ultimate goal is to allow deepwater operations to resume safely. We're not there yet, he said. Associated Press writers Matt Daly on the Gulf of Mexico, Harry R. Weber on Port Sulphur, Louisiana, and Greg Bluestein in the New Orleans, and Ray Henry in the Atlantic contributed to this report. And there you go. And that's what they were saying today, if you can believe it. I don't know, you just saw my last article I put up there about scars and people getting poisoned by just getting into the oil and the water because of all the dispersants. Now they're saying it's okay. Dispersants don't hurt you. They're harmless, apparently, unless you're swimming in them. Oh well, until next time, this is Spellbinder saying be good at it, and have a great day if you're not down there on the Gulf Coast.